How deep do we need to go?
11,000 feet. I searched all over India for this thing. It used to be the deepest copper mine in the world. Remember my brother Gadeep? He's a student now.
Namaste, Dr. Helmsley, sir.
Adrian. It's just Adrian.
मुझे वो बर्फ चाहिए. आइस मशीन तो टूट गई है.
Just don't pour too much, huh?
How do you work in this heat?
You've come on a good day, my friend. Sometimes it can hit 120 degrees. You have to come and meet Dr. Lokesh, fellow of quantum physics at the university in Chennai.
Namaste.
Dr. Helmsley.
So, what are we looking at?
These neutrinos acting normally. Minuscule mass, no electrical charge. They pass through ordinary matter almost undisturbed.
Your message said the count doubled after the last solar eruptions.
That was last week. But this happened 2 days ago. The biggest sun eruptions in human history, causing the highest neutrino count we've ever recorded.
My God.
That's not what worries me, Adrian. For the first time ever, the neutrinos are causing a physical reaction.
That's impossible.
Ah, that feels very good.
Please, follow me. You won't believe this. Bye, Goldo. This water tank goes down another 6,000 feet. It looks like the neutrinos coming from the sun have mutated into a new kind of nuclear particle. They're heating up the Earth's core and suddenly act like microwaves.
Go out! That guy's crazy, right, Daddy?
I don't think so. This is ridiculous. It's been over half an hour. I tell you, the guy's a nut job.
Stop it, Gordon. No, hand me the phone again.
Nothing. Nothing.
You cannot ignore these facts. It's suicide. No, it's worse. It's genocide.
Be warned, Jor-El. The Council has already evaluated this outlandish theory of yours.
My friends, you know me to be neither rash nor impulsive. I'm not given to wild, unsupported statements. And I tell you that we must evacuate this planet immediately.
It isn't that we question your honor. The facts are undeniable. It's your conclusions we find unsupportable.
This planet will explode within 30 days, if not sooner.
I tell you, Krypton is simply shifting its orbit.
Jor-El, be reasonable.
My friend, I've never been otherwise. This madness is yours.
This discussion is terminated. The decision of the Council is final. Any attempt by you to create a climate of fear and panic among the populace must be deemed by us an act of insurrection.
You would accuse me of insurrection? Has it now become a crime to cherish life?
Will you abide by the Council's decision?
I will remain silent. Neither I nor my wife leave Krypton.
A case in point, I think it was in 1815, there was an eruption of a volcano by the name of Tambora down in the Indonesian archipelago. This thing was so intense, there was so much ash and dust thrown into the upper atmosphere, it dropped the atmospheric temperature in the northern hemisphere for years. The year after 1816 was called the year without a summer. They just didn't have one. Snow fell in New England and New York State on the 4th of July. Growing seasons were foreshortened because of freezing of crops. There were places where there was no growing season, no food was being produced. People were starving to death around the world and dying of course, disease brought on by starvation because of this one eruption now, one eruption. How many died, nobody really knows. These were people who died because of an event at a place they didn't even know about. Question, could that happen again? Sure. But note what would happen if there was more than one. It could be very, very bad. So here's what I want you to picture. What I want you to picture are 3 magma chambers below the surface, basaltic magma, andesitic magma, and a granitic magma, side by side. Now, remember now the big difference between them. Obviously, there's some other ones that are important. Carbon dioxide, for example. Carbon dioxide, which is our workhorse greenhouse gas, here's one of the sources of it. One of the sources is volcanic eruptions. The other source, I might add, is the decay of once living tissues. So those are the 2 sources to put carbon dioxide into our atmosphere. So that would be one of the gases. And then, if you've ever been to an active area, it really doesn't smell too good. Because one of the gases is very common is H2S, the smell of rotten eggs. That's one of them. And then you have all these XOX gases, SOX, SOXes. These would be the smell of fire and brimstone. And then you have acids. All kinds of acids are in vapor form. And that's the reason why you don't usually see much in the way of plant life around an active site, because it just isn't very hospitable. So those are the gases. Lots and lots of gas.
Lady Laura, shouldn't you find refuge?
There is no refuge, Kilo. Jor-El was right. This is the end. Make a better world than ours, girl.
The world froze a long time ago. So long ago that I can't remember the warmth of the sun. The planet grew hotter as our fuel was burned. One day, it started to snow, and it never stopped. When the food ran out, most of the people in the world died. But not the people in this place.
A few hours ago, we received a...
Feeding that massive cloud of ash that's engulfing much of northern Europe.
The problem is we don't see an end to this weather pattern, so until we get a cutting off of the ash and the smoke, this problem is going to exist for a while.
The last 3 times Eyjafjallajökull erupted, it triggered a reaction 8 miles away, the enormous Katla volcano that sits on a vast ice cap that could cause floods the size of the Amazon.
What are the chances that Katla could be next?
The chances are good. Due to records, Katla often goes after this one.
And that would be huge.
That would be extremely huge.
Meteorologists recorded wind gusts of 40 miles per hour, and as the black cloud moved to block the daylight, it was like driving into hell.
As we were coming in here, it was actually sunny. It was like going from day to night. We can only see a few feet ahead of us.
Late this afternoon, rescue vehicles were moving in to do safety sweeps as a volcano, Katla.
The only thing that we know is that this one has gone off 3 times during historic time, okay? And in all cases, Katla has done so as well.
Every single volcanologist I've talked to over the last several days believes it's likely, in fact, that Katla will blow. And if it does, it has the potential to be 100 times more powerful than Eyjafjallajökull.
8 a.m., clouds moved in. The explosions calmed, but seismic activity increased. The question is, what does it all mean?
The so-called lava lake inside the top of the Kilauea volcano in Hawaii is running very high right now. The level has risen within the giant vent there at the top. It's within 150 feet of the rim. The whole mountaintop continues to expand and move. It's wild there. Kilauea has been active since 2008. Now it's going to be wild in
You're looking at new video of Italy's Mount Etna erupting this week. Europe's tallest volcano had been rumbling for nearly a year before it erupted, lighting up the pre-dawn sky. Italian scientists scrambled out of bed and managed to get there just in time to record these stunning images. Speaking of incredible images, this new photo was released today of a meteor streaking through the sky in Southern California. Dozens reported looking up and seeing a green fireball. Photographer Susan Larry was just north of Los Angeles when it happened. She was setting up her camera for a night shot when she caught an image of that basketball-sized meteor. First Lady. The scene in Italy today as Europe's tallest and most active volcano came to life once again. This latest eruption of Mount Etna on Sicily forced the closure of some airspace over the island for a brief time today, but no evacuations were necessary. Although the volcano was highly active, the last major eruption was back in 1992.
Some powerful images from Indonesia, where a volcano erupted this weekend. Almost 3,000 people were evacuated to safer ground, but some refused to follow the warnings, and 6 people were killed as they slept in their village.
This is a big one. Mount Sinabang has towered over Indonesia since the earth cooled, but now the volcano is active again, and the vertical explosion is breathtaking. The initial blast sent the plume 2 miles into the air. It's already led to thousands of evacuations and has affected aircraft navigation as planes cannot go near the airspace containing that ash. It remained dormant for centuries before first erupting 3 years ago. Now there's no telling how much bigger this gets.